Alright, this is a track breakdown for the single Drive Night. It's going to be coming out later this week on Friday. That's 10/17. Basically, it's a song about a fictional sci-fi hero who lives in sort of like future times and goes around battling evil and, you know, taking care of bad guys and stuff like that. It's sort of based in like Terminator world slash RoboCop slash futuristic Blade Runner type thing. So that's the idea behind it, and let's just start by listening to some of the stems of the drums. So this song's in 4/4. There's not too much to write home about with the drums. They're pretty standard, nothing too fancy. But on the bus, we do have a couple things here. I have the Magma for just some saturation right here. I have a Shadow Hills. This is basically just for color. It's not doing anything. We're just running signal through it. I have the Townhouse bus compressor here, a Pultec EQ, and a clipper. And all that's going through a bus just for a little extra flavor. And then I also have a New York compression, hard compression bus over here that's blended in just for taste. All right, let's move on to the bass. So the bass just kind of provides that pulse, that eighth note pulse that kind of goes through the entire song, just kind of keep things moving forward in the track. You'll also hear that it's got that big chorusy sound. You know, it's wide in the top but narrow on the bottom end. All right, so most of the song is made up of synths. So let's listen to some of the synths, and maybe we might just do these one by one, just because they comprise the majority of what you hear in the song. So let's listen to the pad right here. This pad is just meant to add a little bit of tension and atmosphere to the track. All right, so that's a pad. Then we have our chords that play throughout the introduction and, of course, in all the choruses. And if I jump down here, I also have another instrument that plays those same chords. It just kind of beefs up those chords and makes everything sound a little bigger. But when you play them together, it sounds like this. Whoops, hold on. Just makes it sound a little bit larger. This is a little bit of a sound design thing. This is originally a siren sound that I filtered, put through like a phaser among other things, and then also just automated a pitch to just rise as it goes into the next section, just to sort of rise the excitement and tension, and add some tension and then release. And it's one of the sounds in the song that I'm kind of most proud of how it ended up sounding. All right, then we have this lead that comes in mostly just during in the chorus, a little bit in the intro, but mostly just in the choruses. Now this instrument just comes in mostly during the chorus as well, just to add a little bit of extra atmosphere and to make things sound a little bit wider and bigger. All right, then I have these drones, and these play during the verses, and they just act as basically a function to differentiate the first verse from the second, just to make things sound a little bit different. All right, then we have another instrument. This one's called, I think the patch was called Ecophonic. Can't remember where I found it exactly, but the first chorus is only 8 measures, and the second chorus goes to 16. So after the first 8, you'll hear the next 8 has this extra instrument kind of added in. And I like how it goes left and right when you're listening to it. That's kind of cool. All right, and the third verse has an arp, which is, again, to differentiate between the first verse, second verse, to third verse, to kind of switch things up, to keep your ear, keep you leaning in, listening for more. So it sounds like this. All right, and then next we have a vocoder for the bridge, but really this thing has been mangled to the point where it doesn't even sound like a voice anymore at all. It just acts somewhat as a pad for this section. All right, then next there are just some little risers here that just come from, these are more transition pieces that just go from one section to the next. All right, and that is all the synths. Then I have some guitars. The first one is a just guitar that plays in the verse, and it's just sort of eighth notes, palm muted, just to add a little bit more weight to the sound. And then I have the same part, much the same part, again, during the choruses, but just a little bit of a different tone. And then in the last chorus, we have another sort of palm muted, but more like this sort of chugga chugga, like choo choo train, kind of pulling you forward type picking pattern here. All right, and then lastly, there is this funk kind of guitar wah-wah pedal part that plays twice in the song, in the second chorus and the third. It sounds like this. All right, and that's all the guitars, with the exception of this last one, which is just a guitar that plays during the third verse. Just some notes, and they're harmonized at a certain point. Sounds like this. And then there's this little tiny riser kind of picking thing on the guitar that's just another transition. Yeah, that's pretty buried in there. I don't think you'll ever discern that, but it just adds energy. Then we have some risers right here. Noise riser. And then, since this is in theme with the song, Drive Night, there's this one riser that is just a car sound, like accelerating, that's also used as a transition piece. And that gets us into just the sound effects. So again, more car sound effects. There's some shifting sounds that I use throughout the song. There are some other car racing sounds, like tires screeching or taking off or accelerating, car turning on, like this. And these three parts are played right at the very beginning of the song together. And then there's just this one part in the second verse where it's just a phone ringing. Now we'll move into the lead vocals here. And what I'll do is I will play some of the lead parts first. Okay, so here we go. Here's the lead part.
I'm on a mission. I've read the signs.
So that's the lead part, and then there are some doubles that are in the chorus, if I remember correctly. Yep, that's right. Doubles in the chorus sound like this.
Let's start the fire and bring the light.
Right, and there's also a vocoder part in the chorus too.
Let's start the fire and bring the light.
Whoops, I accidentally turned those parts off.
Let's start the fire and bring the light.
And those three parts together sound like this.
Let's start the fire and bring the light.
Right? And then we have, there's some effects throws that I think I just baked in to a track instead of having them on a send or something like that. They're just there.
Danger.
Cool. All right, and then we have this one last part that just basically comes into the choruses. This is a sort of a robot-like sounding part, but sounds like this. Okay, and then that takes us into the background vocals, which are right here. So why don't we play those just soloed?
Let's start the fire and bring the light.
So that sounds kind of weird by itself, but with everything else in, it sounds like, wait, let me make sure I have the right thing going on here. With everything else, it sounds a bit like this.
Let's start the fire and bring the light with a burning desire to watch our souls ignite on the drive night.
So yeah, that's it. That's a whole track breakdown. The song comes out on Friday, so give it a listen when it comes out. Thank you.